Hello and happy Friday, everyone. I wasn't sure I was going to come to you tonight because I have some house guests in anticipation of my open house tomorrow. But after we took a ride around Wells Beach and York Beach and then back to Wells Beach again, I thought, let's break out the seashells. So we're going to be using Friends Are Like Seashells, the coordinating dies, and the coordinating folder tonight. But if you only had just the stamps and the die, that would work as well. The folder just gives it a little added touch. We are going to begin with a piece of Pool Party cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's our card base. Then I have a piece of pearlescent specialty paper. And let me see if, I don't know if you can see the pearlescentness, if that's a word, of this paper, but it is really gorgeous. It's a light vanilla kind of color, but it just shines and it's perfect for seashells. You know how they have that pearlescent or iridescent look to them sometimes. So we are using a piece that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 inches. And then we have a piece of Pool Party again that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So 1/2 inch in each direction smaller than the base card. And then we will need a scrap piece of the pearlescent paper as well. If you really like to conserve paper, you could probably cut a rectangle out of here because this is only going to be a border, but for time's sake, I'm not going to. And so there you have it. I'm just not going to. I am going to cut this scrap piece of pearlescent. It's already 4 1/4 wide, and I'm going to make it 3 1/2 inches. So I have this nice little scrap that I can use for, you know, a tiny shell to go somewhere in the future. All right, so I have all the pieces that I need. I'm going to start by taking my die, and this is the Seaside Seashells dies, and yes, it's a tongue twister. I'm going to take the largest one here. We're going to get out our Stampin' Cut and Emboss, the full-sized one. And I need the bottom plate, the number 1 plate. I need the number 2 plate, one of the number 3 plates. I'm actually going to only cut part of this die out. So I want to see the bottom of this shell, so I'll make sure that this comes and covers up the bottom of that shell. And this goes almost to the top. So that's how I decided what width to cut that. And I'm setting this on a slight angle so that the end goes through. It's not square when it goes through with the machine. It just takes a little bit of the pressure off the machine. Let's see, make sure everything's on there. So again, I want to make sure I can cut this entire shell out. Have that entire image. I'll put my top plate over and run this through. Sorry if it shakes things a little bit. We're not done with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. We're done with the cutting part of it, but not the embossing part of it. I'm going to just get rid of my scraps there. And I can take this out. And you get lots of bits left over, and you can just poke those out. If you're finding that stuff is sticking in here a lot, you may want to take some wax paper and run that through, like you're die cutting the wax paper in your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and that'll put a little bit of waxiness in here, and so things will pop out a little bit easier. They pop out very easily anyway, but that's just a good tip if things are sticking. So now I have this, and I need to stamp on this. This is where it gets a little tricky for me because I'm going to have to get my head in the way in order to line things up. So So if things aren't totally lined up, no, it's because I'm trying to do this behind the camera. So I need a couple of blocks. I need a big one for a couple of stamps, and I need a smaller one for a couple of the others. I'm going to take my Pool Party ink because it coordinates with my cardstock, and it will be a slightly different color because I'm stamping on something that's not exactly white, but that's all right. I'm gonna make sure this is mounted. All right. So on here, I can see that this little area is where the base of my shell is. So I've stamped it. Now, if it doesn't line up perfectly, it's not a deal breaker. It'll be fine. I've done it before. Trust me. You trust me, right? Let me put another stamp on there. We'll ink it up. I just have to find out the orientation. I hate it when that happens. All right, it's not going to be my stamps are a little dirty. I need to run them underwater to clean them so they don't fall off like that. But I'm just going to stamp right over anyway. That looks fine. I get my shell there. And let's see, we need the large one next. And we really just need to get a little bit of that. Excuse me if I get my head in the way. So I just have a little bit there showing. We'll clean it. And I'm not putting these stamps away because I know I definitely have to run the backs, and I can feel how dirty they are on the backs. That's why they're not sticking very well. One more. And I think the orientation is like this. And this is the one that I really have to get over. So excuse my head. I think that's pretty good right there. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Close enough. Now on this pearlescent paper, because it's got a coating on it, your ink is going to take a little bit longer to dry. So I'm just going to hit this with a heat tool. And I can see where it's wet. So I'll just hit it with a heat tool until it looks dry. It's no longer wet looking. Still going to be shiny because the pearlescent paper is shiny. That looks good. Now I could, let me show you how the rest of this goes together before I do anything else. We will take our pearlescent paper piece, and I need to adhere that to my card base. Normally I would probably use my Stamp and Seal, but that's packed away for my event tomorrow. Hope I'll see some of you there, by the way. If you haven't already RSVP'd or let me know that you were thinking about it, you may want to just go ahead and do that now. I'm very close to having the exact number of packets available. I'm going to attach this piece of Pool Party next. Again, you just need a little bit of glue. You can see this pearlescent paper. Well, I can see it. I'm not sure if you can see it. I can see where I put the glue. If this were a piece that were going to show up a lot, you might want to help spread it around with a bone folder. That would help spread that in between those layers a bit, but it's going to be covered up by this one. And there's just a thin little border here showing. But it just dresses it up quite a bit. I could just go ahead and attach this maybe with some dimensionals, just the way it is right there. Looks nice, I think. But let's go ahead and see what happens when we put it in our embossing folder. And you can line it up. You just sort of play with it until you see everything line up where it's supposed to go. Let's see. I tend to look at the seaweed up here to make sure, and these ferns over here to make sure they're all kind of lined up. And I close it. I'm going to bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss back in here. I need my number 1 plate. I need my embossing folder with my cardstock in it. And then I need the number 4 plate. And remember, you always want to put the fold through first. And these you can go ahead and make sure that they are going through perpendicular, because you don't want to put undue pressure on the seam of that folder, or you will have 2 pieces and not just 1 folder. Guess how I know that? I learned that a long time ago, and I've only made the mistake once. Not once more, just once. What I can do now is I can take some dimensionals just to pop that up a little bit more. Add some in a few spots around here. Now up here I don't have any, and that's too small for one of the regular size. So let me see if I can get out one of my mini dimensionals. There we go. Here's some mini dimensionals. I'll put that right there. I think I can find another one right here. Oh, and while we're at it, why not right up? Yeah, that'll fit right there. That fits. I'm going to take all these adhesive backings off. All right. And we'll put this right down here. And I am lining it up with the bottom of the pool party piece. And you can see it extends over the side a little bit, but aren't those 2 colors, one of which is not really a color, beautiful together? We just need a sentiment on here. So let's see, what are we gonna do? What do we have in our set here? You are unique and completely amazing. I have some volunteers that I want to send this to. Oh, actually, you know what I was going to do with this card? My Friday Night Live, what I wanted to do was send it to a company out in California. Stampin' Up! Has this Stampin' from the Heart Award, and each year they receive nominations from demonstrators as to who a worthy organization to receive things. So sometimes there's been a special set that's on sale. This time there's a set in a mini catalog that I cannot show you because it's not live yet, but that it goes to benefit sales from it. A portion of the sales from it go to benefit those in foster care. And there's this, I think it's Jamie's Storehouse, place out in California. In California, I guess it's where the crisis of foster care is largest in this country. There's 35,000 children in 2 counties in California awaiting placement or in the foster care system. That's a lot of kids. So Jamie's Storehouse provides a backpack for those children, and it's got school supplies in it. It's much like Stuff the Bus around here, but they put everything together and they give these children a backpack to go to school, because if you're in foster care, you literally many times leave your home with nothing. And sometimes garbage bags are what you carry your stuff in. So they are compiling these backpacks so they have something that is theirs. When they move from placement to placement, which is often the case, they will take their backpack because it's theirs. It's not their foster parents, it's theirs. Stampin' Up! Is also putting a paper pumpkin kit in each box so that they can have a little bit of fun. In addition, they've asked demonstrators and customers to send cards of encouragement, just something that's just happiness. So nothing like, oh, I'm sorry for your circumstance, but I'm thinking about you. I wish you well this school year. You've got this. Something along those lines, just wishing them best for the school year. So this sentiment, you are unique and completely amazing, is perfect. So I'm going to get my head over this, make sure I'm sort of straight. I can't, I'm going to get my head in the way, sorry. And if it's not straight, I'm going to stamp it over. But that looks good. So I have something there, and what I will do is I will put another piece of card in here and just hand write that sentiment and send it off. Stampin' Up! Is actually asked demonstrators and customers to send 1 or 2 cards. That's it. They don't want to be too overwhelmed. I will post the address later so that if you wish to participate, that would be great. If you want the link to either purchase a backpack or supplies and have it shipped directly to Jamie's storehouse, I can provide you with that as well. But anyway, a quick and simple card from the beach, and let them know where you're from. I'm going to say from Wells, Maine. Way across the country, someone is thinking about this child in this situation. So there's my card for tonight. I hope to see quite a few of you tomorrow at my open house. Well, let me go ahead and turn, I can't turn this around because I'm filming this and not just doing a live, but I will see you soon, and have a great weekend.